Welcome to today's presentation titled Show Me the Money. My name is Renee Rose, and I'm a distribution and loan specialist based in Oklahoma. Let's dive right in. As you can see, we're going to talk about processes involved in loans and distributions. And no, unfortunately, we won't be discussing how to magically make money appear out of thin air. First, I'd like to define our role as a TPA. We're here to provide compliance guidance to the plan and operate as service for participant distribution requests. We spend most of our time verifying a request is allowable per plan specifications, correcting errors and omissions made by the participants, and verifying vesting to ensure that the participant receives no more and no less of the retirement funds that they're entitled to. How are transactions requested? When it comes to requests, we have a dedicated team who handles them. These requests can come through various channels, including online from a plan's investment provider or through the paper forms. Some requests require a Definity form, including plans with assets held in an individual brokerage accounts, those that have pooled assets, trustee-directed accounts, or those plans where a paper form is just not available, but the investment provider allows Definity to initiate the request electronically. You may be surprised to know how much time and effort goes into reviewing these requests. Processing a distribution requires verifying all information specific to the participant. We verify required information is included on the form itself, including signatures and the authorized plan signer, the participant, and spousal consent, if applicable. We confirm the request is permitted per the plan document, and is the request allowed as a qualifying distributable event? Does the participant balance contain the source of funds allowable for this type of request? We also confirm the participant's distribution amount per the plan's vesting schedule. So hours of service may be requested from the plan sponsor to accurately calculate the participant's vested percentage in the plan. Additionally, a date of termination of employment may be requested for a participant that's no longer employed, if not previously reported to the TPA or to the investment provider. What is required to process a loan request? Similarly, for loan requests, we verify the source of the funds, confirm compliance with the loan policy and the IRS guidelines, and prepare necessary documents if the investment provider doesn't. These documents will be provided to the plan sponsor to distribute to the participant and to the party responsible for payroll deductions. What is required to process a hardship distribution request? Well, as you may know, requests for hardship distributions are not all the same. If you have any questions as to whether a plan should approve a request, or any questions at all, please contact your plan consultant for guidance. They are the best to answer those kinds of questions. Hardship requests may be accompanied by a hardship substantiation form, which is completed and signed by the plan sponsor. This form confirms the acceptable hardship reason, the actual amount of the need, and is approved by the trustee of the plan. Having this form early with the form helps to avoid processing delays. Clients that take advantage of our 316 services are required to provide supporting documentation in lieu of a hardship substantiation form. So you'll need to provide that proof of hardship with the distribution request itself. It's advisable to maintain copies of documents provided by the participants to substantiate their request. In the event of an IRS audit, the documentation could save the plan from further scrutiny or possible disqualification of the plan. The next step is transaction reviews. After the requests are made, they undergo a review for accuracy. We have a second set of eyes and sometimes a third to review the request itself, because we are all human and sometimes the details are complicated. This step ensures that everything is in good order, before it gets sent to the investment provider for processing. Once reviewed, requests are either approved online or submitted to the investment provider via their secure upload portal. Some plans provide the final approval at the investment provider's website. So if you haven't approved the request, someone from our team might be contacting you as a reminder that it needs to be approved so the participant can receive their funds. And how do I know that the funds are distributed? Well, we monitor every transaction closely, confirming when the funds have been distributed from the participant account. Participants can also verify this through their investment provider account access. It's like tracking a package, but instead of Amazon, it's their retirement funds. And for some odds and ends, our team doesn't communicate directly with participants for security reasons. All inquiries must come through the plan's main contact or an identified as contact in our database. If the plan is a client of Definity's record-keeping services, plans and participants will be directed to a separate division for all of those requests. I'd like to make note of our security measures. To ensure data security, paper forms should be submitted through our secure file exchange on our website. This way, participant data remains encrypted and secure. We will continue to receive faxes and emails, but you should know that you will continue to receive recommendations to use our secure file exchange for sending forms. We no longer have our social security numbers printed on our personal checks for a reason. It's been proven that personal data can be stolen from anywhere. So our goal is to not let that happen on our watch. And as we wrap up today's presentation, I want to leave you with a thought. Managing funds isn't just about numbers or paperwork. It's about safeguarding the futures of hardworking individuals like yourselves. Each distribution request we process represents someone's lifelong savings, their dreams and their aspirations for a comfortable retirement. So as we navigate through the complexities of loan requests, distribution processes, and security measures, let's remember the profound impact our work has on people's lives. By ensuring accuracy, diligence, and security, we're not just processing transactions, we're empowering individuals to take control of their financial futures. As we move forward, let's continue to approach our responsibilities with dedication, integrity, and a touch of humor. After all, retirement planning may be a serious business, but there's no harm in adding a little levity along the way. Thank you for your time and attention today, and together let's continue to make a difference in the lives of those we serve. Thank you. And now, if anyone has any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Yeah, Renee, thank you so much for sharing all of this information with the attendees. We really appreciate it. There's a lot of important information and things that you guys do there in the loans and distribution team, and it's nice to have somebody come and talk to us about it. You're right, there are a few questions, and generally speaking, I think these are questions that come up just regularly. So this is an opportunity for us to get those answered. So for instance, someone might ask you, what about if you have a participant who's requesting a hardship distribution? What information is required to get that request approved?
Okay, that's a great question. We recommend that you obtain documentation that's dated within 60 business days or 60 days to prevent someone from pulling something out of a file cabinet from 2 years ago and asking it to be reimbursed. So those 60 days for unpaid outstanding medical expenses, formal statements or notifications indicating the words that prevent eviction or foreclosure, or anything else that might sound credible. Use your instinct to determine whether it should be allowable or not. We know participants are going to do whatever they can to access their retirement funds. We just want our plan sponsors to be aware that allowing hardship distributions without proper documentation could jeopardize the plan in the event of an audit. So always be safe, use your gut, and always ask our office, and ask your retirement plan consultant. We're glad to provide guidance.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Always go back to your RPC. They are familiar with their plan and will have the best guidance for you. That's a really great point. What about this question? What if my advisor is the main contact for distribution and loan requests? Sometimes that might happen. Can I go to the financial advisor for those kinds of questions?
You absolutely can. And we work as a team. So if you go to your advisor and they don't have that answer immediately available, they will consult us. And we're glad to provide those specific answers for your specific plan. Not all plans allow hardships. Not all plans allow for in-service distribution. So those things are quite specific. Definity is your main source on those specific details. Your advisor is a key partner in your retirement plan, and we are glad to work with them to make sure that you have all of the resources that you need. If you have a question about your investment company's website, logging in, their policies and procedures for uploading data, it's best to consult with your investment provider. That they are the key on how to access their website. But as I said, we all work as a team. We all have our own set of guidelines, and it's sometimes hard to know which entity to consult. But feel free to consult your advisor first. They will be glad to send you over to our office, to your plan consultant for more details if necessary.
Yeah, that's great. We are a team, right? It takes all of us to work together to make this happen. And one last question that might come up pretty frequently is what's the processing time for distribution and loan requests?
That is a great question. We strive for 5 to 7 business days. And to be frank, we strive for 24 to 48 hours. But let's just be real. There's a lot of checks and balances. There's a lot of things that can happen. If a form comes in and it is in good order, meaning it has all of the dates, the important dates, such as the date of termination, it has signatures of both the participant and the plan sponsor. If all of those things are correct, then it could be processed probably within 5 days. But 5 to 7 business days is where we truly what should be planned for. Distributions like a hardship distribution that requires more documentation, if a substantiation form is provided with the distribution request, that can get a turnaround much faster. If we have to ask for that coming from the plan sponsor, that's going to delay it by however long it takes to get that copy of that form. Distributions for domestic related orders, we call them quadros. They take significantly longer. There's a legal aspect and there's multiple entities that have to complete forms and do what they need to do. That takes significantly longer than 7 business days. Just as a reminder, all forms require a signature of the authorized signer. So for the plan, participant and the authorized signer, if they are missing a signature, we have a few workarounds, but really any form that comes through our office is going to require the approval of the authorized signer. Can't get around that. If the request was made online at your investment provider, those tend to process more quickly, particularly if the plan sponsor adds the date of termination at the time of the termination for all participants. When that data is in at the investment provider, it makes things so much faster. But also remember, if you utilize our 316 services, their transaction timeline might be slightly different, but those things are to be discussed with your plan consultant. But we try to get them out quickly. We know how important it is. And we don't like delays any more than you do. So our goal is to get them out the door as quickly as possible.
Wow, that's beautiful. So the key is make sure you know what pieces of information are required and complete all of that information and send it into Definity, and we'll do our best to get it done as quickly as possible. Right?
Yes.
Ah, fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you, Renee. This was really valuable. I know that all those who attend the Definity Academy will be very appreciative of your insight and instruction. Thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.